Hello, friend. Thanks for tuning in to our live stream again. Want to start off our time together with a quick thought. Bill's excited. I'm excited. We're going to have a fantastic discussion today, and we are. We're so thankful that you joined us. So here's our thought. What if we didn't seek greatness for ourselves, but rather sought to make others great instead? What if our true metric of success wasn't letters after our name, dollar signs in our bank account? What if it wasn't followers to our page or assets to our portfolio? What if success was found in helping others achieve their dreams and just adding value to them? I don't know about you. That sounds like a challenge. I'm up for the challenge, and that's what we're going to talk about today. My name is Paul McCosco. I'm a coach and trainer with Bill Cox Coaching, and today I'm joined by the ever awesome Bill Cox. We're going to be discussing something that's called the Canvas strategy that Ryan Holiday introduces in chapter 5 of Ego is the Enemy. Now, this is our 6th installment in this series where we're walking through the book Ego is the Enemy chapter by chapter. We're sharing with you some of the things that we're learning, and we're trying to both keep our egos in check personally and professionally. And I don't know about you, but this book has been a super challenge to me, and I'm glad that we're diving into it together because I'm not sure I can handle it all by myself. I need a little help. So we're thankful that you joined us for the podcast today, whether you're watching us live, maybe you're going to tune in sometime in the future. Thanks for watching. Let us know that you're tuning in. Leave us a comment. Give us a question. We'd love for you to be interactive with this discussion as well. And if you're watching it sometime in the future, make sure you comment on it. We'd love to get back to you and just honor what you're thinking about as well. We're in this all together. So we make a recording of each of our videos available at our website at Bill Cox Coaching. If you go there and you sign up for our email list, then you will be signed up to receive an email every week with this video in it, and we'd love to keep you connected to what we're doing, and not only the videos, but cool events that are coming up in the area, and some leadership thoughts, tips, and tricks that'll help keep you motivated no matter what stage of the game that you are in. So today's chapter in Ego is the Enemy is called Follow the Canvas Strategy. Now, maybe you are wondering, what in the world is the Canvas strategy? I'm glad you asked. The Canvas strategy comes from this thought of embracing the success of others, actually helping them to achieve their level of success. Ryan Holiday asserts this quote. He says, "Find canvases for other people to paint on, literally providing the support so that others can not just look good, but be good." Mm-hmm. I love what Ryan is describing here because it's the ultimate antithesis to ego. It's the concept of humility, true servant leadership as I see it, becoming successful through helping others achieve their level of success. So, Bill, let's dive right in. The term Canvas strategy comes from this word antheambulo, which I learned. I never knew that word before. It's a person who went before a noble or a businessman or a politician in Roman culture. It was a person who went and cleared the path, literally cleared the path for them when they were coming. Mm-hmm. So Holiday asserts, if you clear the path for the people above you, you'll eventually create a path for yourself. So what does it look like to practically clear the path for someone else, to be a modern day antheambulo? What do you think?
Well, this is a great chapter, and it makes me think of you. I mean, honestly, quite honestly, the best example I can think of for someone who clears the path for someone else day in and day out in big ways and small ways is what you do for me all the time. And I think I'm trying to shine the light on the great work that you do more, and trying to provide opportunities in the business for you to facilitate more classes, do the stuff like you're doing right now, coach more, because I think you're so gifted on so many levels. But I think a lot of people, they don't know the greatest reason for my success, and that is all the things that you do every day behind the scenes that enable my success. From, tackling my inbox to managing schedules, to keeping me on task and on track, to bringing projects that we work on in to the finish line, because I always tell everybody I'm like the squirrel on over the hedge. The constantly, or is it? It's not the squirrel on over the hedge. It's what is the animal over the hedge?
Ice Age, the squirrel Scrat.
Oh no.
Okay.
It constantly gets distracted chasing shiny things. I am the classic shiny thing chaser. There is a character on Over the Hedge that I can't think about right now. That please let us know who I'm not thinking about, who I can't say, but he's a character, this animal that so easily gets distracted by the slightest distraction, And for me, we were just talking about this in one of the classes this morning. Part of my personality as an I style, a very people-oriented kind of a person, high energy person, I tend to be the kind of personality that gets excited about a lot of things. So I am famous for starting many things and also not finishing many things. And you've done such a great job of making sure that we bring things in for a landing, but nobody knows about that you do that, from courses that we write to marketing pieces that need finished, to emails that go out that you edit and complete. The list goes on and on and on, and I'm deeply grateful for it. I frankly don't know how I would function in my business without that clearing the path that you do for me all the time. And you do it with a smile on your face. You do things all the time without me even asking you to do it. I think in the chapter, they had some great examples of how you can do this on a practical level. One of the things they talk about is find inefficiencies and waste redundancies, identify leaks and patches to free up resources for new areas. You're always looking for ways that we can do things better, more efficiently. You're always taking that initiative to clear the path, even when I don't even ask for it. So that's who I thought of.
Before people think that I asked you this question just so that my ego can be a little bit, I thank you for those accolades, and I receive them and I appreciate them. And I'm glad that you brought up our personality styles, because I think that that's an important component in this. Like, I feel like that style comes naturally. I'm an S. I like to support. Like what I do to help our business, I don't always see as something great and monumental, because it's just the natural outpouring of how I'm wired. Like I get joy from seeing people succeed, and where you have a ton of charisma and a ton of vision and drive and direction. Those are skills that I lack. And I so much admire in you that I want to come alongside and compliment you with my skills, because that's how you've been wired. And those are things that I don't have. So whatever I can do to compliment and boost you, like, that brings me a level of joy and fulfillment that I don't get anywhere else, because I think that's just how I'm wired.
Well, I think what you just said kind of hits on something else that we're going to talk about, the fulfillment side of this that people often miss, that is, I think, vital to understand with this whole principle.
I think part of the magic of being fulfilled comes from the relationships you form when you are in this antiambulo position. Um, when I think about how to serve those around me well, I think it comes from first trying to know them well. I think it's important, if you want to do a good job of propping up and helping others achieve success, it starts with a relationship, and a relationship where you're invested in them and you know what they value, what they care about, their dreams and drives and desires. And those are things that you almost internalize as your own as you seek to prop them up, as as you kind of understand how they work and what drives them, then you can prop them up better. So knowing them is a key component of practically the path, but also asking the question, what can I do? How can I help? How do you see me of value to you? And you'd be surprised, a lot of times, like whereas our skills and our wiring complements each other, we might have never known that if we didn't ask. How can I help you? What do you need? Well, I can do that. Let me do that for you. If that frees you up to be more of who God created you to be and more fulfilled in what you have to do, then let me take that on myself. And everybody wins when you know somebody and you ask how you can help them out and enable them to do what they do best. So yeah, that's what I was thinking about when I was ironing out this question of anteambulo. What can we do to be better? So
yeah,
keeping the discussion going right now, Ryan Holiday referenced Bill Belichick, and I thought that was a really interesting choice of person to talk about as someone in this chapter. But he said that he exemplified the canvas strategy when he started off his career. You might not know this, but Bill Belichick, his first position in professional football was an unpaid position where he'd watch hundreds and hundreds of hours of film for free and provide insight to the coach at the Baltimore Colts. And through this, he was educating himself, and not only that, but providing a service that they needed done at the team. And, sometimes when you're educating yourself and you're doing some grunt work, it can be easy to kind of get a chip on your shoulder. But he learned to be a rising star without threatening or without alienating everyone. And he attributed much of his success to do that, to be that. He did the down and dirty grunt work, and he had the advantage over those who he was above, but still he served them well. And I think that points to the next question I want to talk about. How do you keep your ego in check when you're clearing the path for someone else? It's humbling, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, in a sense it is, but I think like there's such a misconception around what makes you happy and what it means to be successful in life. We either overtly or covertly or subtly, however you want to say that, we teach the idea that the key to happiness is being in the spotlight. The key to happiness is having a big following. The key to happiness is having a big platform, being in the center of attention, being the lead dog, like that's the message that comes through. You have to be in the center of the frame in order to be happy in life. And the idea in and of itself is just false. It's just false, which I think foundational to this is like understanding what your purpose is on this planet is really important, and understanding and making sure that your purpose actually is in harmony with what leads to true fulfillment in life. As human beings, this is what kind of came out of psychologist studies around Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, as they continue to develop this pyramid around the needs that human beings are motivated to achieve. The highest need that we have as human beings is for transcendence. It's for something greater than ourselves. It's for something more or beyond me. And I think that's why our society's become so nihilistic, so narcissistic, is because they don't understand what a truly fulfilled life involves. And it involves living for a purpose beyond yourself in the service of other people. One of the laws that John Maxwell talks about is the law of addition, that leaders add value by serving others. And I think we all know it's the servant leaders who don't think they're above everybody else, who treat everybody on their team with dignity. It's leaders who understand the people on their team and what they do at every level and how important it is to the accomplishing of those teams' goals, and that those leaders connect to everybody on their team and seek to add value and serve the needs of the people on their team. It's those kind of people that are the most attractive and that make the biggest difference in people's lives. And there's just such a freedom that comes from the concept of appropriate smallness. When I just enjoy the freedom that just comes from not having to be known, not having to be in the spotlight, but the fulfillment and freedom that comes from just like shining the light on other people, and how fun that is when you can promote other people and help them be recognized, when you can celebrate other people and you can see the difference that makes in their lives, because we live in a culture that's so narcissistic, because so many people are just obsessed with self. Like everybody is going around bumping into each other, like clamoring for attention, clamoring to be noticed. And when you actually find someone who kind of steps into that, says, no, I'm going to flip the script, I'm going to put the spotlight on others, like the impact that has on people, the difference it makes in their life, you can see it. You can see how it impacts people when other people do that for them, recognize those qualities in them, help them succeed, help them win. How transformational it is for people when we do that. And, I mean, being in the spotlight is highly overrated. If you really seek it, it never delivers. It never delivers on the happiness or the fulfillment that we think it's going to bring us.
No, that's
I always try to remind myself that, people aren't nearly impressed with me as I think they are. Most people are thinking about themselves. They're thinking about their own lives. And I have this imagination like how, amazing people think I am. No, they're really not thinking about you at all. they're thinking about their own lives, their own concerns, their own needs, and just kind of stepping back and having more of an appropriate view of myself rooted in humility. Appropriate smallness, I think, is really important.
Yeah, definitely. I remember reading about a leader one time, and he was leading a growing organization, and on his arm, like right here, he had tattooed INAM, and it stood for "It's Not About Me." And it was, he would look at it every day and he would think, I don't want my growing organization to translate into a growing ego. To remember that it's about those around me that I'm serving. And I'm like, man, that was really practical. So I think that's one way, as a practical way, what can you put in front of you almost every day to remind yourself that it's not about you, but it's about those around you that you're trying to elevate. And another way, I think, is simply returning to your values every single day. Doing grunt work can be hard. It's easy to lose sight of the end game when you're in the down and dirty of trying to make someone else look good. But I remember my first ever job, right? I was 15 years old and I was working in an industrial laundry plant. And it was probably the grossest, most dirty job I've ever had in my life. And part of my job was to clean this facility. So that way, when everybody came in the next morning, it would be the best work environment it could be.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, getting me through that was not only the thought that I was going to drive when I turned 16, because I was saving money to, get car insurance, which was a big goal for me, but also the fact that this job that was so difficult for so many people, I had the opportunity to make it a little better when they walked into a facility and it didn't look dirty and disgusting. You know what I mean? So returning to your values of like, wanting someone else to have a better day, wanting your life to count, I think is one way to keep your ego in check when you're doing those down and dirty things.
Absolutely. When I think about this, an example of how this plays out for me is in speaking. So I spoke to a group of college students at a local university a few weeks ago. And I was operating up this principle. I got this from John Maxwell. Like communication is about connection with people. And if you can establish rapport and you can connect with people, when you speak to them, it becomes much more natural and much, much easier. It takes the pressure off. So many people, when they get into public speaking, the focus is all on me as I'm standing up there. Are people going to like me? Are people going to think I'm interesting? Are they going to like that illustration that I chose? Do they like what I'm wearing? Do they think what I'm wearing is cool? Do they think I'm funny? And like, you're just totally obsessed with yourself.
Fear, insecurity, all that comes in.
Yeah. So like, I always do this really simple thing. I come in, and then I did in this case, as students started coming, I don't know them from Adam. I just started introducing myself. Hey, my name's what's your name? What year of college you in? What's your major? I just start having conversations with people. I build rapport and a relationship before I even start my talk, learning about people, learn about why they're there, learn about, one kid he was a senior on the basketball team and had just recently injured his shoulder. So I learned a lot about like his situation that as I developed my talk, I could easily connect to. And one of the things Maxwell always talks about in effective principles of communication is the idea of start with them. If you just come in, it's always a discipline for me. Anytime I speak somewhere, I will always work the room. I'm going to shake people's hands. I'm going to meet as many people as I can meet. And I'm going to establish a connection and learn about people, put the focus on them, because that's why I'm there. I'm there to serve them. And when I do that, it takes the pressure off. The focus is off of me and not about how impressive I'm going to sound, but it's all about the people and how I can best serve them with the talk that I'm going to deliver. And I remember when we walked out of the class, Justin said to me, he's like, wow, he's like, it was just so cool. Like you just came in, you just started talking to people. That was really crazy. And it's like, you just started talking to him. You introduced yourself and you established this connection, right at the beginning. So I do that every time I give a talk, and it's key to delivering an effective talk. You just got to connect to people and start with them. Get yourself out of the center of the frame.
I love that. And I think that's what makes you excellent at what you do. Not only because you truly love and value people, but you seek to add value to them as well. And so we're going to bring our discussion in for a landing today. We're almost out of time. We thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed our discussion today. We try to do one of these each and every week. So next week we'll be in chapter 6 of Ego is the Enemy. Again, if you found value in this video, I'd encourage you to forward it on to someone who might benefit from it as well. And make sure you go to BillCoxCoaching.com, sign up for a weekly email blast, and we'll keep you in the loop with all of the great activities, events, and leadership tips and tricks right into your inbox completely free. It's our gift to you, so we can hopefully add value to you right where you're at as well. So hope to see you next week, and make sure you tune in for the Level Up Your Legacy live stream and podcast. See you later.
Hey, thanks again for watching today's video. And before you go to the bottom of the screen, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure you go to BillCoxCoaching.com, sign up for our regular newsletter to help you move from success to significance and lead your life in such a way that you live a legacy. Have a great day.